Peace, family.
Peace, everybody. Sunday Sitting with Sisters. I'm your girl, Dana Maisha, our queen, Juanita, and Earth Mama Healing herself. Mama Ro, peace and love. How y'all doing?
We are great. We are great. Great stuff happening in Sacramento. I just want to give a shout out to a few people. Definitely want to give a shout out to the women who stepped forward to be part of the 100 Black Women Mentors for 100 Black Girls.
Yes.
Each one teach one. Already we're up to 25-ish. 25. Yeah, I'm talking about 25. And I still have one more this week before the Thanksgiving week come. I ain't do nothing on Thanksgiving week. And then also there's a lot of awesome stuff happening. Not the 100. Dang it, why did she brought this down? The BSU had their conference in Stockton for all our Black students. I want to say big up to them because our kids definitely need to push. Also, I want to acknowledge that Sister LaDonna is having a Sacred Sister Circle today at 2 p.m. And the information is on the Facebook page. Okay. There's so many wonderful things happening. And I also want to give a special shout out to Sister Bina, who took me on Thursday and invited me to a dinner with the Jewish Federation. And I learned so much being in there. And I'm just going to tell you, 100 years of Jewish people raising money to support their own, and there's nothing wrong with that. I just wish I could have took a huge picture. They raised a lot of money that night, but it was over 150 women in the room, and these were all Jewish women, and probably 4 Black women there. I was one of them, and then a couple of Arabs. And they have this program between Jewish women and Muslim women, and around peace, and it's very powerful. And when I sat there, I thought to myself, and though I love Black people, don't get it twisted, I think sometimes we be comparing the wrong shit with white people. I think that they was in there looking just as plain Jane, and they raised millions of dollars each year to take care of their own. And so we could go, you could have a building where there's over 350 Black women too looking suited and booted, but collectively we can't, nobody can call none of us to really help us do shit. And they help Jews around the globe when they come to the United States. So for me, that made me feel like, okay, I'm gonna have to revamp some shit because I'm definitely cut from that cloth. I'm not cut from the cloth of just looking a certain way but have nothing to give. And of course, you know, it's a sisterhood that they do. So for me, I was totally impacted, and I'm thanking Mina for even allowing me to go, even though people thought I was from somewhere else because you know I wear African clothes, and immediately a lot of I sat there with a whole bunch of Jewish elders, women. There was all women in there, except for maybe like 3 men in there. But it was just very powerful to see that, and I know that Black folks we could do it, but it's gonna take a lot of getting out of the ego where the fuck you think you are. Okay. I'm sorry, because that was totally powerful. That impacted me so bad. I think I'll talk about that shit all day on Friday. Okay, because that was power for real. Hi, Miss Harriet Tubman. I just love your name, Wright. Her name is Harriet Tubman Wright. I just love her name. Okay, what's going on with y'all? How was y'all week? Before we get into it.
Quick. It was quick and very fast. Okay. Very, very fast. The weekend here and the weekend over.
Was it those 4 days? I think 4-day work week just
worked better. That's why you get the Monday off and then you got Tuesday and Friday and they just go by real quick. And then it's the weekend already and now the weekend over.
I agree with you. What about you, Dana?
I had a good week. It's been a good week. I too have been thinking about sisterhood too, and about really what that means and kind of like what I need from it and what I want to be able to offer sisterhood. So that's ironic that you brought that up. I think that sisterhood is essential to the build. And so, yeah, I had a good week. I'm happy to be here. Sunday Sitting with Sisters. I feel like I've missed a couple of weeks.
Yeah, you have.
But what's up, family? How have y'all been? And how has everybody out there been?
I've been great. I've just been working on this mentoring program amongst other things.
Okay.
So it's coming along really good. I'm going to say this. Black woman stepped up. I did an orientation yesterday. This young sister was jamming. But here we go again because she's like 25, got a master's. And then she also works, she's elected under the new governor to do some stuff. But when I asked the sister, because part of the question is who's been your mentor, it was all the greats. It was Dr. Flo, it was Dr. Rowe, it was, then she just named off so many people. And here is a young person, and then she said that she was also on the Bonnie Brown when she was a kid, and she said that she wants to
Taylor?
run. Is it her name? Give me the line. So you remember her name. That's why I said the young lady girl.
I'm seeing some of the ladies.
Got that name. I can't remember everybody's name.
No worries.
But she was so awesome. And I was so inspired by her. I was like, well, her last name is Thomas, I believe. Is that her? Jerea? The sister was the bomb.
Shout out to you, sis. I don't think I've done that.
So when I seen her, I was like, okay, that's and she's gonna be a mentor. So whoever's gonna get her as a mentor, man, she jamming. She gonna be running. So I just, man, hats off to her. Young people like that make me feel like fire. Like, gotta keep going. But she was so awesome in the way. She had her great grandmother with her. She brought her to the training because she couldn't, like, you know. And of course, you know, I always include people. But it was just her kindness and her patience and her. And to me, that is privilege when you know that shit. It ain't a privilege like I live in a nice house. That's not really privilege. Privilege is when you know the art of how to talk to people, how to interact, how to move past the petty shit. That's very privilege. Because sometimes that's what holds us up. That's the ego part.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I want to say this, at the Jewish thing I was at, they had young people, they had people in the middle season, and they had elders. And one of the girls, because one of the programs is in different schools where the Jewish women work with the Muslim women or whatever, the one girl, because she's a senior, she's already passed the baton to the next person coming behind her to take over leading it. And I was like, that's the shit I'm talking about.
Strategic planning.
Yo.
We got some compliments on our color scheme today.
Oh, thank you.
I said, we even tried. This is how we showed up today. Huh?
So here's my question for y'all this morning. I'm going to get some stuff because I know you're going to get out of here.
Yeah.
So this whole thing around the missing black girls and women and human trafficking, do y'all think, and this is just me, I know we've always had people who have been runaways and been missing. I get that. I really do. I remember John Walsh coming on and talking about blah, blah, blah. But this seems to be like a concerted effort.
Absolutely.
There's something a little different about this.
Absolutely.
How y'all feel? Because that's how I feel. Like something
just
don't
There's
feel
something
right.
different about what?
Like these people are not just. It's not random.
Yeah.
It's not just so sporadic where you know, she was depressed and she just don't want to be bothered. You know, when you over 18, you could just, if you don't come home, they might be like, maybe they just don't want to be home no more. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you have every right to not want to be with your family or associate with your family. Maybe you had other plans and they worried about it or whatever, but it's like you don't really have no proof to say that this person was kidnapped or taken up, you know, against their will or something of that nature. This does feel very, very different.
So you think it's about the organs?
Girl, please don't. Look, okay, y'all.
No, I think, go ahead.
I think that people was talking about, you know, the black market and people stealing your organs and stuff, and I'm just like, the conspiracy theories, you know, the flat earth people.
Stuff is dominant.
But girl, no, now I'm a believer, y'all. now I'm like, y'all, like they really out here. Like they found that one girl wrapped up in you know those like wrestling floor mats.
That was a boy.
That was a boy.
That was
and
a boy
his
down
whole inside his home.
Yep.
Oh my God!
No, I do believe that's one. I think that.
Look,
I agree with you. I think there's not even just one. I think there are many. I think like if we had our top
it's a
four,
whole market.
Yeah, we said what's our top 4 reasons? Harvest the organs. Yes, I can see that.
What's the other 3?
But I'm gonna get to that. But I also want to say this. Sometimes I'm amazed that people could be missing for so long, and then people start to be concerned about them.
Oh yeah.
So that makes me think, because if my nieces become missing, they in the other part of the state, we'd be that motherfucker like within an hour. They check their mom all over the place.
See, but okay, just like the young woman who was in Atlanta, and her roommates have now been arrested.
Right.
You know, but her family. But that's what I'm saying. When you have that bond with your family, when you have that connection with your family, it's one thing when you like, look, she ain't answer my call and she ain't went to work. That's not my child. Like, you know what I'm saying? You
right. I agree. I'm just saying I agree with you. I'm just saying that sometimes I read about cases and there's always something like for the girls who are like almost runaways.
That's what I'm saying.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I get what you're saying.
But I think that some people are like, well, you know, she been fast.
That's what I'm saying.
She been skipping school. Yep. We don't know who she kicking it with. She out. So maybe sometimes they don't always. And you know, everybody don't trust the police. So so that's what I'm saying. Your automatic response is not to call the police. It might be 3 days before you like, okay, let's really put something on the record on the books just in case they find her. You know what I mean? So I do think that there's some parts like that, but I don't know. I think I don't know how somebody can tap in. Let me see if I got any comments about this. Some people, do you have to be waiting? Hey, Kashayla. Hey, Simon. Do you have to wait 48 hours before you report somebody missing?
I thought it was 24.
24 hours?
I don't know. I mean, it used to be 48. I don't know. But I also watch
48.
people. I watch people go right to social media because nowadays you really don't have to. Because that's how a lot. I mean, I did
and
that.
maybe that's why they do that because they can't get the support.
No, I'm gonna tell you what happened to me last year. What really made me start to pay more attention to it is I was doing home visits for Burbank in particular, and I went and talked to a grandma about her granddaughter not being in school. So first she wanted me to go talk to her granddaughter. I said, no problem, she's in school, I'll do it. But then she never came back to school, so I went to her. She said, oh, she missed it, and she started giving me all of this back history of her granddaughter, because sometimes we don't know the back history. And I was like, you know what? I said, do you mind if I put her on my page? And maybe somebody's seen her, because first she was sitting in the Heights, she had gotten a fight in the Heights, and somebody video recorded her getting her ass beat in the Heights at the park. You know, like, and I was like, oh, she had a lot of stuff from, just a lot of stuff, like she wasn't with her mom, she lived with her grandmother, that's another thing, whatever. So I went ahead and posted her on Facebook and said, hey, this is one of my students, and her grandmother's been concerned about her. Within 24 hours, I had 1,000 shares, and somebody seen her on the bus in Oakland. The bus driver said she had parked and was waiting for her route to start again, and she went on Facebook, and then she seen her picture, and then she looked in the back, and there the girl was sitting in the back of the bus, crying.
Oh my God!
And then she held it there, called the police. And all I'm saying is that's the power of when you do, because her grandmother was like, what do I, she's an elder, what do I do, blah, blah, blah. I said, do you mind if I post on Facebook? So all I'm saying is, here's a grandmother that's concerned, but she's not hip and savvy. And there's other dynamics there, with her son, his tribal self, and then his wife, and her tribal, there's all these other trifling characters. And all I'm saying is, that because now what the story was is that she had gotten taken from Sacramento, so we don't know if that video of her getting her ass beat was her being jumped in. I don't know, because she's from South Sac, she was in the North Sac, then she ended up all the way in the Bay. So all I'm saying is, yes, for the organs. Of course, yes.
Sex trafficking.
Sex trafficking is real. And
it's
my
so
thing
real.
is, it makes me think, how can another human do that to another human? Like, it's one thing back in the day, if you...
They live in their flesh.
Yeah, I agree. But I'm saying back in the day, like if you look at the Mac and all that shit, because that stuff was really big in the 70s, big. You can record it, you can see it in movies, like the Mac and Superfly and all that bullshit. But usually a woman had to buy into the shit. Like, you know what I mean? You're like, well, I'm going to bring your daddy, and I'm like, the Mac game.
You have to want that.
You have to have the Mac game.
Right.
Nowadays, it's like, they found a place where a whole bunch of girls chained to the damn thing in people's garage. And they will come out, and then one of my girls...
enslavement, and that's called gorilla pimping.
Okay, bam. Okay.
That's what you call it?
I heard that term, gorilla pimping.
It's gorilla pimping, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to snatch you up, and I'm going to stick you immediately. They sticking you with drugs. They knocking you out like that. You waking up confused. You don't know where you at. They could be putting heroin in you. They could be doing anything. You know what I'm saying?
So
and then now you hooked. And now you confused, and they keep you high.
Yep.
That's the thing, is that they keep you high so that you can't. And then who knows? They could be giving. And once you high, you might start doing other drugs.
Yep.
You start. You know what I'm saying? And then you confused. If they start calling you Brittany, and then you like, I guess my name Brittany.
No, that's real talk.
Like they will confuse you to the point where you don't know what city you in. You don't know how old you are. Everything seems so delusional.
So true.
Girl, they just had y'all Law and Order SVU.
Oh, that's my show right
there. That's my show, been my show for 20-some years.
Yeah, it's been around for a minute.
And they just had an episode about it like last week, talking about human trafficking, and I know it as gorilla pimping. I've been knowing that since Oakland. Oh, you know what I'm saying? That's what they do. But they was talking about on SVU how they are, getting girls boom in the neck. Or there was a video of I forget what her name is. It was on Facebook. Good morning, Donald. It was on something else actually, on Instagram, and the lady was talking about how they might, in parking lots, they'll put, you have stuff on your windshield, and then you get in your car and you're like, oh, I gotta get this off my windshield. It might be somebody parked waiting for you to, once you get your stuff out your hands and get comfortable, your guard is down, you get back out to go reach for the thing, and then boom, they got you.
Right on.
I ain't got time.
Everybody that's tuning in.
Stay with your pepper spray, folks. You can buy bear spray too.
Park where it is lit, and be aware of your surroundings. And for God's sake, stay off the goddamn phone till you get in your car. Because that's another big. I tell my kids all the time, don't be walking down the street with the headsets and you're not aware. Somebody come walking behind me, I slow down.
Did y'all see that video of the girl, black woman? It was a black man following her. He was following her throughout the store. It was a thrift store. She was thrift shopping, and he was like, "Oh, you don't want nobody, you don't want nothing up in this store or whatever." And then she was like, "Oh, okay, just talking." Walked out the parking lot. He was outside, and then waiting for her. And she pulled her phone out, and she was doing it. She was like, "Do y'all see this man? Somebody come get their brother." And he talking to her all in the background. She gets to her car to unlock her car. He goes around to the passenger side. She locked her car back up, and she was walking around her car. He following her, just walking. He was like, "You need to take that video down. You need to take." And she had the wits to go back to the store.
That's right.
Because why would you? I'm not gonna keep going back and forth. I'm live. I'm calling it was just, it stressed me. It stressed me, and this just contributes to, 4 years ago our president of grabbing by the pussy, and now we 4 years later. And we got real high folks grabbing folks for the pussy. Right. How about that? Okay.
I just feel like there is something in it, right? I think it's always kind of been there, but I don't know if it's that people feel. I always think when you lower the bar, it allows people to come out and be who they are. I think they've kind of always been there, but I just feel like we didn't really understand it like that until you start seeing stuff on social media.
Because you see
things that makes it real.
But I feel like, because like you said, you lowering the bar. It's one thing when you have to do it in secret and shame. You have to do it. But your president talking about grabbing by the pussy.
I agree.
Your president's talking about that.
But here's the thing. But I don't even think it's just the president. I think also it's these hip hop videos. Girl. How they talk. No, seriously. And so we'll be like, they're just artists. No, thoughts are things. Thoughts are things. And so my thing, if you make it, that's like bitches.
What music you listening to? They're talking about gorilla pimping.
Oh, a lot of them. Have you listened to? I listen to one kid shit in class. I'll be like, y'all gotta turn that shit off. I don't want to hear that. Like, this is some of the stuff, and girls they think that's a part of like, this is rough. Yes.
I don't know what
artist. So I know somebody you let me over.
Tap
me
in, because I listen to rap music. Yeah. I don't hear no rap music.
And even our local artists, some of the stuff they say that they underground hip hop stuff. So our kids is tuned into things that even some of us don't even know. You know what I mean? And I'm talking in terms of like the things that lower that damn bar. We know when people, I remember my homegirl J-Ron was saying when she was in NWA, I always love the story, and she said she with her dad, who was a musician back in the day, he heard her playing NWA, and I guess he was like, "Fuck you, bitch," or something on there. And the dad was like, "Why? How much you pay for this goddamn CD?" She was like, $10. I said, "I could call you a bunch of bitches for free." Like, because her dad's kind of like old school gangster. And so she was like, so what I'm saying is, even though we thought that was minimum, I know it's not kind of jacked up. But my thing of it is that it started that small. We're going to go back to some of the origins of this stuff. We know that opened the door. We know that opened the door for the shit we see right now.
Okay, but and I'm gonna just say this, and y'all can agree or disagree. No. But I feel like there are women who, you know what I'm saying, who like they gotta pay for it. We got a lot of female artists who are like, I'm in my bag, but I'm in his bag too. That's why when you see me, I always got a new pair of shoes. You know what I'm saying? No, we got folks promoting. If that's what you got, if he rich, I'm gonna mess with him until he ain't rich no more. You know what I'm saying? Like we got vultures out here.
No,
you know what
I agree.
I agree that there are women who are even promoting. Girl, you better get that money from that man. You know what I mean? If that's what if that's what the move is. But I don't know no female artist, no male artist who is talking about snatching folks, drugging folks, forcing them into prostitution. I'm just saying, I can't think of a lyric.
The Mickey, blah, 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 blah. I'm trying to remember, because I remember hearing that. But let me just say this. Even when people are getting the bag, the way it works, this is why I think this is divine order. Even though you made the choice to be this bad bitch, it's still going to affect people who are not bad bitches. That's what I'm saying. We know that. It's not like this is just, I wish we did live in boxes where the shit you do over here don't affect me. But if a boy's being raised by a woman he don't respect women, he not going to see me and be like, "Oh, I respect you." He don't fucking know me. I'm just another bitch he don't like, even though he don't know me. So we're not in this little box. Everything we do affect other things until we don't do that. You know what I mean? But we know it all affects, what happens in the world affects everybody. That's why, that's all I'm saying. And I know, because I've heard, I don't know the songs like that, I really don't, but I hear like, y'all gotta turn that off. I've been at an event where it's supposed to be family friendly, and they put the kids in, like, what the fuck is this? Y'all don't have no words without. Back in the day, at least we did take the cuss words out when adults were present. But that's because I was raised in a different tribe and we respect our elders.
Y'all still had that. Y'all still had the same message though.
No, we
I
didn't.
listened to a lot of that
we
music.
didn't. We had
That
two
message
live
was
crew.
still
We had
the same.
variety. We had variety.
You know that. You know that message.
variety.
And I'm like, hold on, I'm listening to it, and I'm like,
I'm not saying it's not. Because you wouldn't know what you know if I didn't know what I know. What I'm saying is there was a time. Yeah. No. We had two live crew to talk about it. Pop that pussy, throw that dick, yeah, all that. Yeah. But the thing is that mama doing
just because you ain't fucking in the ass. Like, okay, well, what you talking about doing in the butt?
I agree.
Like,
But what I'm saying is that even though we had that, when certain people came in the room, we took that shit off.
Right.
That's not.
So you didn't have the pastor doing it in the butt.
No. We love that sex. No, I don't know about that. But I'm saying, like, we don't play that. Let's go. See, I didn't go to church like that. So
okay, I'm gonna leave that alone.
Because I heard somebody tell me once that it's okay for you to sleep with your pastor. Somebody told me that.
Okay, on to the next topic.
No, I'm serious. Somebody told me that's normal in black churches for people that like be fucking with the pastor. And I was like, I didn't grow up in church.
I don't know. I just thought that rabbit hole. We are not, because we're gonna be talking about the pastor. People
I'm not.
But
what I'm saying is, it's not even the pastor. It was a woman who told me this, and I was like,
that's too much.
And when has that ever been? I'm not a churchgoer, but I just know that don't sound right.
That don't sound right.
Now, or either
in
that,
English,
or that
in
was
Spanish,
in French, maybe that was a whole language.
Maybe
that was whole language.
In Catholicism,
maybe that was whole language.
Yeah,
maybe that was whole language.
Maybe
whole language
maybe in whole language. Maybe in the whole land.
In the whole land.
In the Holy Land.
No, in the whole land. The whole
in thoughts.
So that's what I'm saying. So I know that one is the organ harvesting, another one is sex trafficking. I think the other stuff is that people sometimes leave and they just don't tell nobody.
And I just also want to add, because there's been some jokes online.
Yeah.
Stop making it seem like, oh, well, if you have a certain appearance, if you don't match the aesthetics of what the people who are disappearing, that you safe. Because I've seen a lot of jokes about it, like, oh, well, you ugly girls ain't got to worry about it. Like, ain't nobody
they're the ones
you.
who get targeted the most.
Ain't nobody worried about
funny. Because that's part of the game. Their esteem is
Yeah.
low. But I know people who would think that, because this thing about beauty, that's your opinion on beauty. Because some shit that people may think is beautiful, I don't think is beautiful. Mm-hmm. But that's just me. So I don't have the pretty
when
girl.
You're thinking about when you're thinking about the reason that's
pussy is pussy. Pussy don't have no face like that. They don't be looking at you thinking like, oh my god.
As they say, butterhead.
Butterhead.
Everything cool but a head. That's all that matters.
That's real talk.
You ain't never heard the stuff. Look at it.
I have heard that. I have heard that.
But a head. You know, they put like a garbage bag over her head. They be like, she cool but a head.
Yeah. You never heard that, Dana?
No. You never heard that before.
I have.
Okay. Can some of the men tap in? Y'all know the phrase that y'all use in regards to some women, and they be like, she cool but her head. Her face ain't, up to par, perhaps.
Damn.
But it was this viral picture of this dude. He said, she ain't the cutest, but she loyal. Y'all get on my nerves.
Y'all is a mess.
Y'all need to
stop. Y'all need
to quit that.
I definitely think people leave home just to leave home. Like, just, I was supposed to say, check it with your parents. Tell me you ain't come back no more so they can take your picture off of there.
Mm-hmm.
That's all. I said, like, if you really okay and you good and you ain't come back with whatever, just let somebody know. You know what I mean? So we know that you're okay. That's all I'm saying.
Donald Moore commented about the about sex trafficking, and he's saying that basically it is media who's trying to, there's some people who are like, we need to have more awareness, and then there's fear mongering where they're trying to create this fear that's associated with it. And
does he know anybody that's missing? Because I know a few people that's missing. Do you know anybody that's missing, Donald? Like your daughter, your granddaughter,
friends?
There's
programming content. You can contact like radio stations and let them know, like, hey, for something that's local, or like how we were speaking about before in terms of the mass amounts of people on social media and being able to get, support from people all over the country, because all it takes is a share, and they say, we are 6 degrees of separation from everyone like around the world. Like you know somebody who knows somebody who knows somebody who knows Obama. Like you know what I mean? Like it's in the, like well, there's only 6 degrees of separation all over. So when you hit that share button, that's profound. You know, you're able to reach the amount of people that you would never be able to reach just on your own from your own network of people.
I agree. I agree with that. I just know that if you haven't necessarily experienced somebody being missing, it's kind of easy to say something like that. How do you say to a grieving mother who's missing her daughter that some of this stuff is fear mongering? And I don't know. I just think sometimes we try to always simplify things that are not simple. Because somebody being missing, I don't care if they plastered it everywhere. Somebody want their kid to be found. Yeah, that's all I'm saying.
And know that they're safe.
Yeah.
I mean, that's very similar because you know we had this week we had a shooting in Southern California at Santa Clara High School. I want to say. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong.
No, you. I think it is Santa Clara.
Yeah, and they had a shooting. It was a young Asian boy, my understanding, and he said that his parents weren't paying him a lot of attention, and he was on the video games a lot, and he thought, you know, shooting people was normal.
See what I'm saying?
So I mean, I get what we're talking about. Making the correlation between people who are missing. There have been over almost 300 mass shootings this year.
That's right.
And if we think there's 365 days in the whole year, right? You know what I'm saying? That's a shooting almost every day, some part around this country. And then it's really just, for me, it's just heartbreaking to think about the high schools that are going through this, the high schoolers who, like, this is real PTSD. Yeah. In like this generation going through everything else, but it's like you have to really worry about going to school and if you're gonna make it home that day. And like even the shooting that they had in Florida at the high school where the kid pulled the fire alarm to make everybody come outside. Wow. And then started shooting at everybody once they came outside. Wow. So y'all are really thinking this shit all the way through to hurt people as much as you can. That is just so disheartening to me. That is so disheartening to me. So I get in one sense where we see so much news about it, and it's very saddening, and it seems constant. But at the same time, y'all, if we could do documentaries on these communities, you know what I'm saying? After the shooting happened, and you get your one day on the news, what happens after that? What happens to all those communities when you go back to school? Because they go back to school, y'all. Like the school don't shut down, so you have kids traumatized. You have and it's like, and you have a whole community, not just kids, but their parents. Not just their parents, but their grandparents, their aunties. You know what I mean? I have a kid who's in elementary school. You think I'm not worried about her going to high school? I have a kid. She feel like my kid, but she my niece. You know, and she's in high school. You think I don't worry about that? I work in education. Right. You know what I mean? So the campuses that I go to and that I visit, I'm like, man, you got to really consider where you're going to. And it's unfortunate because you might have some schools in the inner city and you might have to worry about gangs, but I feel more comfortable worrying about the gangs because I know what to look out for compared to being in these the suburbs and you got all these folks smiling at you with the gun in their locker. That's just wild to me. So, I get it. I get that there can be an oversaturation of, certain information that people feel like, is there, a certain motive behind it? Is there, something that's driving these forces? But same time, I'm like, look, if I did have a child missing, if I did have a child involved in a shooting, I would want as many people to know about it as possible.
Me too. So, but I get it. I totally get it. I totally get that. What do you think the answer is to some of this? Honestly.
The answer to what?
To what we're seeing in terms of, you talked about the violence, the shootings, a lot of them happen.
Oh, raise your kids.
Okay, what does that mean?
Parent them, render the child.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, I just think mental health is real. I think mental health is real, and I think that I don't have the answer. Let me just say that. But what I will say,
you ain't got the answer.
She said, let's start there.
I don't got the answer, so let me premise that. But what I will say is that mental health is a thing, and I think that we, as a community, I think we're doing a better job about talking about it and not making it be so taboo. Because I think for a time, when people have someone in their family who suffers from mental health, and there's different spectrums, right? So you can be slightly bipolar to all the way, I don't even know what you call it. But I don't know if we really talked about it before, like how we talk about it now. And I think that we need to talk about it some more. And I think that we need to get the help that we need, because that's crazy for you to just sit there and just think about how you can kill some people. That's crazy.
Yeah, it is.
Do you think people who do random acts of shooting like that and kill people, do you think they should go to jail and say they should be shot on the spot? That's my question.
Well, that's the argument too, because again, if we're talking about, on one hand, it's mental health and it's their lack of, and it's their perspective, and it's the bubble that they're living in, and then we're talking about holding them accountable for their actions.
But if they kill,
right? So if you are in a very depressive state, or even a manic state, and you're committing these crimes, and it is based on mental illness, do you still shoot them and kill them, or do you give them the opportunity to be arrested and go through the justice system and probably be placed in a psych ward? My feelings?
Well, look at that.
Yeah, we listening.
How was your feelings?
Oh, they say I'm dramatic.
I feel, because I don't want to say it too honestly.
No,
what I will
say
is that I'm not saying that people who suffer from mental illness deserve to be killed. That's not what I'm saying. But what I am saying is that, no shade, but you officers kill folks over thinking you saw a cell phone, or thinking somebody broke in a house, or thinking somebody stole this car, or thinking, you know what I'm saying? So, but if you know they done murdered folks, why y'all not so quick to pull the trigger? That's just what I don't understand. So I just don't understand the approach. I'm not saying that you should purposefully and intentionally go in to kill this person, but if you know that they are armed, that they are dangerous, that they have committed a homicide,
they kill people.
They have been the cause of serious injury for hundreds of people, tens of people. I mean, why is it such precaution being made in that point? I'm not saying for sure go to kill them, but I'm saying, why you holding bullets for them? I just don't get it. I don't get it, because you'll unload in Landro Castile. You know what I'm saying? But you're not going. You get what I'm saying? And that doesn't serve no real threat to you. But I don't know. I just don't.
You made a good argument.
I'm not saying that I want them to go out and when y'all see school shootings, because again, let's remind you that those are children.
Who killed somebody.
But those are still children.
Who killed somebody.
I understand that. But if we say what we just said about 5 minutes ago, if your child is sick and if your child is going to kill somebody, you raise that child. You know what I'm saying?
But I don't say don't kill somebody off.
But what I'm saying is that it's not entirely their fault. If they are 15, 16, 17 years old and they have been under your custody, then the reality is that the outcomes of them and their life has a lot to do with who
somebody need to be killed though. Because here's the part I want you to hear me say, and I get you. Because what really gets me though, bro, what really gets me in my soul is when people take somebody's life and then they go to prison. They come out, they still get to live and eat and breathe and see their children and. Meanwhile, the lives, I ain't into the Lord. We ain't gonna do that. I don't do religious stuff like that, cause that's like saying
the universe.
Yeah, well, even the universe. I said I'm not into that. What I'm saying is, how do we then repay? Because when you lose, I said that's why I think we don't really value life. Because if we value life, we wouldn't shut it the way we do. This person has taken somebody's life. Now I can see if they came out, the rest of their life they were trying to make up for taking their life. That feels more like
how they gonna make it up if they in prison?
How they changing their whole thought process. People have done it before. But then I watched too many people, tell you where this come from for me. I watched too many people who moved a lot of weight, did a lot of shit to people who messed up our communities right now. And then they come out like they've been victims. No. You stop being a victim when you start victimizing people.
Amen.
For me.
Amen.
For me. So my thing is, people like, I was a victim. Dude, but you killed somebody. You took a life. This is not like you raped somebody, you shot somebody in the leg and they lived. But no, you took a life force. You could never pay that back.
But
then they have to go and come again. They have to go back to the earth, and somebody has to bring them back again.
Wait a minute.
That's like the man who died. Hold on, this is yo. We gotta change the topic. But listen, there was a man who died. It was all over the internet about a week ago. He died in prison, and they brought him back to life. Like he died, like but they resuscitated him. And his argument was, I served my life sentence.
You know what? Did he get out? Did he get out?
Criminals always trying to find a way to try to get over on somebody. Bro, if you don't go back to your cell,
he probably like, damn, why you bring me back?
He like, y'all, I served my life sentence. Y'all don't owe y'all my new life.
Could you imagine being resuscitated
for prison
to go back to live?
I can't.
I don't know if I want to.
But my feelings are, in all honesty, shut up. You going back to prison, and 2, you don't get a life sentence for too many traffic tickets. You get what I'm saying? You got a life sentence for something real. So what I'm not gonna do is dismiss your life sentence because you died for 12 seconds. That's not what I'm gonna do.
Right.
But I'm just putting that out there. So,
all right. The next subject. Go ahead. We got something. Go ahead.
Oh, I was thinking that we was gonna talk about Allen.
How did that go?
So now you know.
Yeah.
Girl, okay.
Yes.
I didn't get to catch up.
Let me catch y'all.
Me either. So catch me up for
So for you guys who are not aware of the lawsuit between Comcast and Byron Allen, for one, people were thinking that Byron Allen was taking Comcast to the Supreme Court, and that is not true. Comcast took Byron Allen to the Supreme Court.
Yeah, but they lost.
Because they lost in Circuit 9 court. Yeah. So basically, the issue is with Byron Allen.
Well, why did Comcast take Byron?
Because they lost.
Because they lost. So they were appealing it to a higher court.
Okay.
So because they lost, and then the District 9 court said, no, we agree with Allen, Comcast said, okay, y'all didn't agree with us, so we're going to appeal it and take it to a higher court. So they asked the Supreme Court to see their case. And a lot of people didn't care because this is just big money. It's an argument between people with a whole lot of money and got nothing else to do with themselves. But it does affect the people because of what Byron Allen used as his argument was the 1866 Civil Rights Act of 1866. So little history. So we got free 1865, right? Okay. So in 1866 they made another constitution, the first Civil Rights Act ever. Put in our Constitution that allowed black people to have equal contracts, right? Because once you didn't have, your in-house slaves and your crop keepers, and you had to give them real titles. You had to give them real jobs. But they wasn't hiring. They wasn't going to give you a real equal contract that they would give a white man. Right. So that's when the country said, okay, well, we have to give black people the same as we would give a white person. So that's what the act is. That you have the equal right as a free white person, as any white person, to have that same level of contract. So that's what Byron Allen was using against Comcast by saying, y'all refusing to do business with me because I'm black. And Comcast is like, it ain't got nothing to do with you being black. We have valid business reasons that we are not doing business with you. And he's like, give me one that don't have nothing to do with me being black. And they're like, well, you don't have these, certain
high
views.
Ratings. You don't have high ratings.
And he's like, but my ratings, my Weather Channel compared to the Weather Channel that you didn't contracted with. Or this compared to, so he was able to continually contradict whatever the reasons were that they said. And then he also then added to it, the only reason y'all holding me to this standard is because I'm black. Y'all trying to find a reason, but it's really because y'all black. Right. So then Comcast realized it was losing that argument. Right. And then they finally said, well, at the end of the day, sir, the way that the law is written, even if, which we're not saying that we are, but even if we were choosing not to do business with you because you were black, that's not illegal. If we can find other reasons, if A, B, and C is because you black, if we can find X, Y, and Z for our business reasons, if it's 10% racist but 90% valid, that's not illegal. You get what I'm saying? Right. And he's like, if you are considering my race at all, that is discriminatory. Period. You because the 1866 Civil Rights Act says I have every right as a white person to white person, you're not considering race. So if you were considering my race at all, you are in violation of my constitutional right.
Okay.
You get what I'm saying? So it's been a very, very big Supreme Court case. And I'm so grateful that the Supreme Court agreed with Allen. So basically, when they got to the Supreme Court, Comcast's lawyers were like, the law says it has to be, for a discriminatory case, it has to be 100% because you are black. That's it. That's all. He can't prove that. We have given him multiple reasons. He cannot prove that. And the Supreme Court said, because they're talking about like the place and where the law, I mean, where the case was at the time, because he wants to continue push forward with the lawsuit. And they're like, we want the lawsuit to end where it is right now. There's no point of us continuously going back to court. We want to end it because he's never going to be able to prove the burden that's on him. He can't prove that. And the Supreme Court said, well, he can't prove that now because of where we're at the beginning stages of this lawsuit. But once they start, what's that called? When you command, when you like, I need to see this, I need to see this.
Yeah, the receipts.
When you get your receipts, but they're at the stage of the case where he can't demand their receipts yet.
Yeah.
I want emails between your CFO and your CEO about talking about me. You know what I'm saying? Y'all ain't never called me no boy. Y'all ain't never said nothing. You know what I'm saying? Like, it might be 10,000 emails, but I got long money. Allen is like, I got long money. We will find out because we know that there's more. It's discriminatory. Really, that's just what it is.
Right.
And so the Supreme Court, they agreed with him, and they said, well, the lawsuit can continue because all he has to prove with the Supreme Court was, his argument was, race was a motive. Mm-hmm. And Comcast was saying, no, race has to be the absolute only thing. So you got to find that thing that said no blacks allowed. Like, you know, and it's like, okay, we never gonna find them. You guys are never. Right, so that's what I was saying, that the whole court case was really just about overt racism and covert racism in the workplace. Mm-hmm. There's plenty of folks.
We know that happens.
We know that happens. There are so many people who get passed up for promotions, who don't get considered, who never meet the interview,
people that end up managing them.
Yep.
Girl. But why you didn't get it? And you like, it's because I'm black. And they like, no, do you have proof of that? Mm-hmm. That we just chose the other person. But then that's what Comcast is arguing. They were, really kind of pleading to the Supreme Court, saying, if you guys allow this to happen, people can always pull the race card. Mm. Basically, that's what they're saying. So, they can always say that.
So one of the things, and because I've seen several interviews he did, and it's just been awesome. That oversaturation, I hope you oversaturate this case. Mm. I hope we do. No, seriously, this is something. And the thing I want to say about Byron Allen is, he said one of the reasons that pushes him to do this, he said, it's about economic inclusion, which black folks have never really been able to get a foothold in. Uh-huh. Even if you're black from Africa, it's different than being black from America. This is a distinct type of racism that we experience, because Africans can always get money from their own people. We don't have that base like that in terms of a country. But he also said he did this for his children, because he know in the long run this is going to impact them. Yes. To me, that's parenting beyond,
with intention.
Yeah, but beyond like the right now. I want you to have the right to have some name brand sneaker shit. Right. This is about, no, for real, it's like, my kids should be able to, if the white kids can get away with eating bubblegum in class, then we be on shit like that. No, he's talking about economics.
Yes.
Economics, which is the greatest equalizer we'll ever have if we use our money right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Spending power.
So I was impressed with that in itself. And something like, well, I got this and that. Look, dude, he got enough green to fight these people. Let him do the fight. And y'all should, this is one person you should support in that fight. Because whether if you like his politics or whatever, yes or no, I don't know his politics. What I'm saying is, he's the perfect person to fight that fight, because he has enough money to go tit to tap with these people.
Yep.
Which is what we need.
Yep.
Yeah.
So that's why I was like, this is such an important case.
It's going to set such huge precedent moving forward.
We can't even afford to lose
if
like
Comcast were to lose, and and they tried to pull out every little thing that they could. They got the DOJ. They showed it.
Gave them 10 minutes to make their case on top of they had 30 minutes each.
Right. But we know that we are under Trump's administration. We are in front of Trump's justice. You get what I'm saying? So,
but if we were always in front of Trump's, I'm just saying now.
I agree.
No, I think it's easier to say Trump, but this is not from Trump.
No. But what I'm saying,
this is from every president we ever had backed this shit. This has nothing to do with Republican, Democrats, because white people discriminate for the sake of themselves, to save themselves, to keep this system alive that supports only them and not us. And I get it. And I'm not a Donald Trump supporter, but I think that sometimes that lulls black people to sleep. When we say, oh, Donald Trump, no, Donald Trump's not the only culprit in here keeping black people down economically. Right. Because all the stuff we're seeing now, this ain't really Trump's presidency yet. We're not going to see his stuff till he leaves. That's the way it'll always go. But who the last person we had as president before him?
Obama. But Obama was never able to put anybody on the bench, though.
No, it's not. This ain't about nobody on the bench.
No,
the DOJ, this is not.
I'm talking about the justices sitting on the bench.
I'm not. Hold on. But here's my thing. So the people who backed him up, they didn't come from Obama. He couldn't appoint nobody, right? But what I'm saying is Donald Trump knew enough because he belongs to the good old boy club, regardless of his political.
Appointee for the DOJ is what I was referencing.
No,
I'm not talking about the.
I agree what you're saying. But what I'm saying is, that's something I felt like Obama could have fought when he was in there.
Obama could have fought the justices?
No, he could have backed up Byron Allen's case if he needed to. They had to do these press briefs. So he had. I would say this. Then. He's been working on this case for years. Please look up this.
But he wasn't suing when Obama was.
Yes, he was. He was in the smaller courts though. So maybe he hasn't gotten to the top court.
Obama can't do nothing about your local. I be protective of Obama.
He wanted to have some beer with a white officer. So don't tell me what he can't do locally. When the white officer did our boy Skip wrong, arrested him in his own house, Obama came to the little town and had beer with the cop to smooth the shit over. So don't tell me he can't do shit locally. Okay, yeah, look that up. Dr. Henry Yates got arrested at his own house for breaking into his own house. You remember this happened during Obama, and Obama took him and the other dude, Skip, for some beer. And I'm like, he should have just not said shit, but that's another story. I just know people could do shit all the time. Presidents could do stuff on every level there is. It just depends on where their heart is. That's all I'm saying. But I agree that this is a really important case. Very important. And I really feel like sometimes we let classism get in the way of the bigger overall picture that's going to even impact us.
Because people don't understand precedent, and they don't understand that when it does happen to you, when it matters to you in your cubicle, when it matters to you when you're being denied that loan, when you're being denied that access to housing, when you're but you can't say why it is, but you like, I feel like it's because I'm black. You know, if I go and apply for this house and y'all say, or apartment, and y'all say, hey, we don't have any openings. But then my little light-skinned friend with the green eyes come, and then y'all suddenly got 3 apartments. You know what I'm saying? you could argue, oh, well, you know, they came at a different time. They came at a different date. The market changes every day. Just the day that you call, we just didn't have any. You get what I'm saying? So it might be times. So that's what I mean by the precedent that has to be set. Because even as attorneys, and shout out to my cousin who just passed the bar this week, by the way. Another black woman, you feel me, pushing on. But anyways, when you try to go and receive an attorney and try to go and get a discriminatory case or fight one, they gonna say, well, based on the precedent that was set, you know what I mean? It's so hard to really fight covert racism. And I just really hope that the justices that are involved in the case, if it does get back to the Supreme Court, because they told him that he has to go back down to the Ninth Circuit and he has to have the burden of proof at that point there. But anyways, I just hope that it does get passed and he does ultimately win this case, because I would really hope that America is not saying that a little bit of racism ain't never hurt nobody.
Oh, you know, they say a lot of it is racism. But
I'm saying on paper, because we know the different America that we live in. You know, there's a difference between hypothetical and theoretical in real life and reality. So we know that there is, on paper, you can't do this, and this. But we know it still always happens.
Right on.
So all I'm saying is that I hope that on paper, the U.S. does not say that a little bit of racism is all right. You know, that you could have valid reasons on top of the fact that they black. As long as you say, you know, well, they black, but they also was late, and they also this, and that's why we didn't hire them. No, but I'm saying, like, if you should say for a job. But because what if they're like, well, it was their clothes, and they weren't prompt, and you like, it's because they black, and they're like, well, it's because they're black, but these other reasons too. Like, you get what I'm saying? As long as you're not still trying to claim that, then It just needs to be on paper that we can't do that.
I'm just messing with
Point
you.
blank in the
You
period.
know, with us in that late thing, girl, that's a little unique kind
Right.
of style of us being late all the time. So Dana, tell us what's happening with your all things literacy.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead. That's why I put it on you. That's why I
okay.
put it on you.
So, what's happening with All Things Literacy? Okay, so the bookstore is open. We're located at 2251 Florin Road, Sacramento, California. 95822, home of African Marketplace, home of Florin Square. So All Things Literacy is doing well. Hi,
beautiful.
It's doing
You
well.
got it, girl. You got it.
We also have, I'm blessed to be able to work with some women in the community to work on Around the Way Girls Book Club. That's going good. We have some really good, deep conversations with these young girls. I'm learning a lot from them, really, to tell you the truth. And then also, Boys in the Hood is doing well as well. We're in December, we're going to celebrate another year of reading. And so we're going to have a blue carpet affair. We're going to have a sit-down dinner with the boys and dress up. And then it's just our appreciation to all of the people in the community that have supported them, because, you know, that is definitely a village program too. So that's going good.
Yeah, glad to have you back. We missed you.
I know. I missed you guys too. Yeah, we just had a book signing yesterday. Natasha Miller, Faith for the Mompreneur. That went really well. We sold a lot of books. The book is available at All Things Literacy, Books and More. And it's good, not just if you're a mom, but if you're just a woman or a man needing to believe and have faith for something. And just what her process was. And it can really be turned into like a workbook, so to speak, too. So come on and check out what we have to offer.
So, Dana, how important is your faith to how you live your life?
Ooh.
Or are the two not connected?
To me, it's everything. And to me, I feel like, I'm not going to say my faith hinders me, but my faith, and I'm not talking about religion, but everything that makes me who I am, Dana Maisha, it hinders me from doing a lot of things that I could be doing. So to me, it's everything. It's my measuring stick.
Right on.
Yeah.
So with that being said, this is a question even for y'all out there to chime in on this. Can you still remain friends with your ex?
I will tell you that it's a worthy pursuit, especially if you have children and grandchildren and stuff like that. But when you talk about friendship, you know there's levels to it.
Talk to me about it.
So there's levels to it. So, can you be friends with your ex? Yes, I think that you can. Is it going to be a difficulty factor attached to it, depending on what the circumstances is? But when we talk about friendship, we talk about things like trust and commitments and things like that. And so, you know, I think it's difficult, but it is something that can be done and should be sought out to do.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you're saying when you have children and stuff like that, it matters.
I think more, because I think that the children, they don't care, how crazy mom and dad is. They kind of just love their parents, right? So I think when the two parents are at odds, I think that just adds additional trauma to children. I'm not just talking about little children, but even adult children, and their children. I think that if you can be past cordial, because you got to go a little bit deeper than cordial. Yeah.
All right.
Because I think most people are cordial with their ex, but I think if you can go past that and really try and have some basis of a real relationship or friendship that's based on something. I guess it's based on the commonality of the fact that you guys produce these children or are responsible for these children, whether they're adult or minor. So, can you be friends with your ex? I think you should try to be.
Okay, that makes sense. is there anything that's a breaking point in terms of like, nah, I couldn't be friends with this person because they just never got over this? Or is there anything that constitutes not being able to be?
I think when you don't feel good about whatever relationship you have, and if it causes you so much stress and strife, then I think that you shouldn't do anything that causes you that much stress and strife. You get what I'm saying?
I get that.
But if you can, if there are things that you can tolerate for the team, in this case for the family, I mean, you know, some people can do it and some people can't. It's definitely difficult.
Is it ever such thing as an easy breakup? Anybody, easy breakup?
An easy breakup. I don't know, because I only had one breakup. But I will say, I will say that, an easy breakup.
Hold on, while you thinking about that, Sister Deanna said, "Hi, how you doing, sis? We got to get together for some tea and coffee, a lot to catch you up on." But she says, "I can be friendly, but I like to hang out with friends, not my ex." I get you.
No.
Because some people say they were better as friends than they were as lovers. And they was like, man, we should have never went past that point. We should have just been
friends.
Lovers. Yeah, I mean, we should have just been friends and not lovers.
Yeah.
Well, you say yeah, like expound on that. What's that? Yeah.
Because I just think that every situation is different, and I just think that I think every situation is different, and I think depending on I just think it's a worthy pursuit. I think it's a worthy pursuit. If you can do it, do it, and if you can't, don't beat yourself up about it, but try and consider the people whom you are affecting, like meaning the rest of the family, because that's kind of what happens, right?
That's true.
Yeah.
Do you ever have things that you, and this is to all y'all out there too, do you ever have things that you missed about your ex, and maybe in your next relationship, that's something to put on your list, if there is a list?
Is there anything that
you miss, like, oh my God, like I love the way he would cook, or the way he would, you know, something that was meaningful in the relationship, and you felt like he was good at this when we were together, but, you know, and then in your next relationship, you kind of like, that would be an add-on if the person had that, because that's something I really liked, that worked well in our relationship.
Well, I think, especially if you were in a long-term relationship, or, you know, I think that there are definitely things that you miss. For me, being a single woman now, I'm going to tell you the truth, I definitely miss having a covering, if that makes sense.
Break that down as you say, a covering, like you mean of the Holy Spirit?
No. But and I guess that's my assignment too, to figure to have that sense of covering without a physical, you know, maybe that's what it is. I don't know. But what I will say is that I do miss that. I miss being able to share burdens. You know, like I'm not the only one worried about the smut. I'm not the only one worried about, you know, how much equity is going to be in the house. I'm not the only one worried about, is it now time to procure another property? You know, I'm not the only one worried about, we procured property here. This will be paid off for the last grandchild. Or, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not the only one worried about, and not really worried, but just, I'm not the only one building a legacy. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So with that being said, I know I'm asking you a lot of questions, but
I know
like,
she really.
Yeah, because we haven't seen you in 3 weeks, Dana.
Oh my God. It's been longer than that.
But I also think it adds into some other things. Like you talked about being a single woman. Do you think it's hard being a single woman? And anybody out that's a single woman, do you think it's hard? Or is there a balance? Is there freedom you have that you're enjoying, or what is that like for you for real?
For real? Okay. So I'm going to say that being a single woman definitely has its advantages, okay? Because you do get that level of freedom that you don't necessarily have. It's definitely when you're married, right? But I am enjoying exploring the things that I like and the things that I don't like, and not having to consider someone else. I like the fact that I could just go and come and do what I want to do. I love that. That's really dope. I love the fact that I could just plan a vacation and not even consider someone else. Like, that's dope. But that's not dope enough to the alternative. Like, I wouldn't prefer being single over being married. I still prefer being married. I still prefer being with someone.
Why would you prefer to be married?
Why would I prefer to be married? Because, again, being able to share burdens with someone, being able to build, and you feel like being able to build with someone, to me, is it just makes the build more worth it. Does that make sense? Because oftentimes you could be building things and you can have some children. Your children may not necessarily pick up that legacy. But, being able to have an escort to certain things, and definitely being able to have that balance, to balance out your... I'm not saying that a spouse can help you balance out your emotion, but it definitely provides a balance for you. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
So, like, when you're in balance or you're feeling weak in a certain area, and and you have that spouse to kind of like balance you out, and you don't have to tell someone the backdrop. They already know what your ongoing struggles are, and stuff like that. So yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I prefer the marriage.
What do you think is the strength in a man that you would like to have in your next husband? What's the strength that you really like to see in men folk in terms of relationship?
Definitely want to be protected and covered. Want to be protected and covered. I want to feel safe, like physically and emotionally. Because you could be physically safe in a situation, but your emotions necessarily are not safe. You get what I'm saying? So yeah, definitely want to be protected and covered. Definitely would like to have someone that has a standard that they kind of stick to and constantly evolve as well. Yeah, definitely someone who is conscious and has a responsibility, or has accepted a responsibility, not just for themselves and their immediate family, but just understand their role in society and in community.
Is it essential for your next husband or mate to really like your family or to be good with your family? Is that important at all?
I think that makes sense. Definitely. I think it makes sense.
Okay, so that's something that's like if you were dating somebody, you want him to be able to be cool with your family.
Yeah, I think it makes it easier because you having Sunday dinner or somebody's birthday or just whatever, and if we can all be cohesive, I think that just makes togetherness easier. You get what I'm saying? Of course, there's times somebody doesn't like such and such spouse or blah, 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 blah. You just kind of tolerate it, because like that's your family. So, So yeah, because I know that there are times probably, I don't know. I wonder did my ex-family, maybe they was tolerating me. I don't know. But anyway.
What made you say that?
I don't know, because I was just thinking about how, if the family doesn't like you, that is a thing, right?
Yeah.
Especially if the children don't like you.
Yeah, yeah.
That's
I'm
the
talking
thing.
about just in terms of, say, if you dating somebody and then your family don't like him or whatever, would that affect your marriage or your relationship? Because some people build new families. Like if their family ain't feeling them, you just go build yourself a new one.
Yeah.
I hate to say it like that because sometimes maybe y'all just different like that.
Well, and I know too, in our community too, we definitely build family outside of family. We definitely do that because sometimes, family can bring you together because of blood, and then you could also be brought together because of causes. I would definitely say that we definitely have a family outside of our families. Me and you, girl. Like, yeah. I would definitely say that.
Yeah, me too.
But I still think though that I think that it would be nice if there was if the family did kind of tolerate the spouse. I think it would add less stress.
Say
It would be less
if
stressful.
your son married a woman who gut you hated, how would you deal with that? No, this is hypothetical. Like, what would you do if your son, who you adore, married a woman who just like, you know, you didn't like her and she probably didn't like you? What would y'all
Well, let's
do
put
for
it
the
on
sake
my
of
daughter, because my daughter, she, who I adore and would die and kill for, both my children. But she definitely was with someone whom I would not have selected for her. I would not have selected for her. But now I can honestly say that because my daughter loved him, and because I love my granddaughter, and my granddaughter definitely loves her dad,
Right on.
I would have to say that my I call him Bishop. He's a part of my family now. You get what I'm saying? Yeah, he's a part of my family, and I love him.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But how did you work through that though? Even though you,
It was difficult as hell. It was difficult as hell. But I think understanding the fact that this is your daughter, and your daughter, this is who she rocking with. Also, too, understanding how the mind works. Now I know we're big and grown now, right? But with younger people, it seems like when you talk against something that they love, that makes them run to it more.
But that's always been. That's always been. That's why I think sometimes we'll say, oh, the millennials, they're not as different as any other group. I think that's a trick. Because they're just young. Now, you may compare them to when you were young, then it will make sense. Because when you're young, you think you know everything. You think you got all the answers. You reframe shit. And old people say it's the same shit. Different decade.
Yeah, I think ours was more. I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay, I get
No,
what
I
you're
think
saying
that-
about
I think that
millennials,
may be-
but
I
I
think
think
that
we
we're
were a little bit
outspoken.
more respectful.
Yeah, but I think that we were a little bit more like we could hit our stuff a lot because also we were in a time when we came out of a time where you had to hide to survive. Nowadays you could do some dumbass shit and we would jump up and protect you. But back in the day, you know, when Elizabeth Taylor, when Richard Burton cheated on on his wife with Elizabeth Taylor, that fucked up her whole career, his whole career. Back nowadays, somebody cheat on their wife, it becomes news, and they become famous.
It's not even a thing.
Yeah.
It's not even a thing.
So that's why I
at
think
all.
the differences is
Yeah,
honestly.
yeah. I think that's more. I think it's more.
That's a moral thing. And
I think
so,
it's more accepted.
But I will say this, I
Yeah.
also think millennials, as they talk, they become older, and then another group is coming up, and they're going to feel the same way about them. That's the thing about time. You be thinking that you got something going on, because I'm young, and then as you get older, you be like, did I do that shit? One of my mentors, who I love a lot, she's an elder, and she was telling me one day how she has friends she's been friends with for like 40 years. Like, it's just amazing. And she was saying when she was young, they had busted some new car windows out. And I was like, you busted out somebody's car windows? Because I see her as this, like, just refined person. But she was like, I was young. And we did stuff like that. And I think sometimes that we don't ever consider what it means to get old.
Yeah.
We live in the moment of what's right now. But as you get older, like doing a split when you're 20 is different than doing a split when you're 60. Not saying that you can't split, because we do have some very healthy people.
Right.
But I just know when you get older, sometimes the bones do something a little different, or
Yeah.
you can't get that, you know. And I think sometimes we dress it up,
Yeah.
but I don't think we really understand what that really means. And I think that's why I was so impressed with that little sister yesterday, because even when we were talking about some things, she could receive it. It wasn't like, well, I'm young and I feel. She was like, thank you for that.
Yeah.
Because I needed to hear that. I would think about, we talked about ancestry and knowing, and instead of saying like, that's old stuff, we didn't know about that now. That's how you can almost tell a fool.
Yeah. Because only a fool despises wisdom. And
You
I don't
better get it.
Yeah, only a fool despises wisdom.
That
I
makes
get
sense.
it wherever I can get it.
Yeah.
I get it from the little young girl.
Me too. I get it from wherever. That's what I say. I could really be sitting amongst my enemy and take away lessons.
Me,
But that's just
I
me.
for sure can.
Yeah,
Anywhere,
I
anywhere.
learned some stuff.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's why I think I was so impressed, like just her wisdom. And another thing, because this young lady was so connected to her community, and her community, this is the other part, had invested in her.
Yeah.
When she talked about the people who mentored her, I was like, I said, you're supposed to be exactly where you are. Because when you invest in young people, she went to Spelman. I mean, and I was just saying to myself, like, wow.
Yeah.
There, and then she had a great grandmother with her.
Yeah.
And I thought
that
to
was
myself, like, wow, like all the great things you're doing, that's what you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
That's why we invested in you.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And so, I don't know, that young sister just impressed me. I love when the universe send me people. And then a young sister came to visit me this week that I mentored. Now she's like 35 years old. And she has 3 children. And she came by to see you. I guess she came by a few times when I was at school. But she shared with me just like what was going on in her life, whatever. And she said, and I remember you sharing stuff with us. And that really impacts who I am right now and how I deal with stuff. And I was like, wow. So sometimes the universe sends you people to remind you to stay on the square. And not to be like, because sometimes I'm learning that some people I'm supposed to come in their lives for just maybe the second and that's it. And then some people I'm attached to for a lifetime.
Yeah.
Not like we see each other every day, but we're still connected to each other.
Yeah.
And so, because I reference a lot of stuff that people taught me. Like my mother, my Aunt Winnie, they used to always tell me, I would ask them a question and they would say, just keep living, honey.
Yeah.
I used to fucking hate that. Because
I
wanted to know the answer. But now that I'm older, woo!
And plus too, what I learned too is that really there's no boilerplate answer for
kids. You want to know everything.
I know.
Why this? Why this happen? Why people starving here? Because I would ask those questions. Why we ain't got this? Why? And then they'd be like, baby, or this would be a big one. And y'all feel me on this. When somebody's in an abusive relationship, per se. And I'm like, why she don't just leave this fool? Just pack the shit up and da-da-da. And then the person say, because maybe she's in love. Love, man, she better give it, like you throw love out like you would a dress. Like, throw that shit out. And then they be like, baby, keep living. And I was like, that makes no sense.
I was like Lenny Williams said, maybe you never been in love like I've been in love.
All right, now.
Lenny Williams said that.
Yeah.
And I feel that. I know what he's talking about.
Talk. So that's all I think about that. It was like, that young sister just impressed me so much. She really helped me to just like, okay, bro, you good. But I also think I want to highlight those young people.
Yeah.
Because what I noticed about other groups, and I think this stood out for me when I went to that Jewish Federation dinner, that they are grooming and impacting people who are believe as they believe. You can't be trying to support somebody who you can't even trust that will keep you in mind. And sometimes in the black world, that happens to us a lot.
It does.
We buy into this concept that we're all the same, but we're really not all the same. We may share the same complexion and shit, but some of us is okay with an ass whooping, and some of us is like, do not touch my ass. So it's, just...
Yeah.
I'm learning that, and when I seen that young sister stand up, well, I ain't lying, because some people are like, I like getting punched in the mouth. Well, I don't. Somebody punched me in the mouth.
Yeah, for some people that's foreplay, and that's, that's good.
Did you say that's foreplay?
No, yeah.
Damn, that felt good.
Yeah, like,
my tooth is loose, but god damn it, you hit that jaw so good.
You hit it right. Yeah. For some people, that's foreplay.
So that's all. I mean, so she, just sometimes people come into your life and that's their job is to be like, you know what, this is what it's all about. Because I'm not in here trying to fight people who like, I feel different. Get the hell out of here then. Because I'm trying to get some, no, for real. Because when you're going to war, you don't take your enemy with you as a comrade.
But let's talk about that for a second. Because that's the thing. Okay, so
what's the thing? Having an enemy as a comrade?
Well, if you at war. So it depends on who you at war against.
Okay.
So let's say, Queen, let's say this thing here and this thing here was at war. This green and this pink, right? Mm-hmm. And you against war against the brown. Both of you guys have a common enemy.
Right on.
And you guys both on this side, y'all on this part of the soil, and y'all trying to protect it. Y'all two don't like each other, but you both have a vested interest and have the same desired outcome. You can't tell me that you're going to be on the battlefield arguing with green. Because then you can't see what brown doing.
Yes, you would, if you don't really understand the mission. So
Ooh,
let me just
break
say
it
this.
down.
I'm going to give you the best example.
Break it down.
So let me tell you one thing that really stood out for me being at the Jewish Federation's banquet the other night. And it was full of women. They were highlighting a program they have that's Jewish women working with Muslim women. Mm-hmm. So you would see these two groups and mainly...
which that's a beautiful combination.
It is, but we know historically these two people always been in war with each other.
Right.
But... the Jewish woman who came up with it said what she began to realize is that the same people, this happened after 9/11, the same people that wanted to annihilate the Jews wanted to annihilate the Muslims. Mm-hmm. And that's what made them as women not men, but as women, feel that we need to reach out to each other and pray together and get to learn each other's culture and blah, 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 blah. That to me is higher than what we're able to do as black people, because they clearly identified an enemy. And then when they're together, they ain't debating they shit. They're learning from each other. They're praying together.
Yeah.
There's some things they really leaped over.
Yeah.
You cannot tell me that two black people will know, let's say, that that the Arab store owner is the enemy. You know what I mean? That this person treats us like shit, sells us rotten meat and everything else. And the two of us are black, and we know that this motherfucker hate us, but you're going to keep going in the store. We can't even boycott this person because some of you, not you personally,
no, I know,
will go to the store. But you both know that he don't like neither one of us, but maybe because he said good morning to you and smile, you think that he don't see me the same. You still buying rotten meat from this fool. So that really impressed me.
Yeah. That's impressive.
That was like, wow, this Jewish woman that looks to me, they're like cousins to me, but that's just my thing, because you know. But how? And then they have like over 10,000 women in their thing, and they're all over the U.S., 5 provinces in Canada, and now they're into Europe. And I'm saying to myself, why the fuck? Why can't black American women get with some African descendants? I don't care if they're from the Caribbean or from the continent, and feel like, look, I don't know much about your culture, but we know we believe in some kind of spiritual being. We know we have different traditions. Why don't we get together and do some stuff together?
Yeah.
Because the same enemy that is deporting you as an African is over here kicking my ass as an African American. Like, that's what was so impressive.
Yeah.
But we'll do stuff like, yeah, but y'all different because y'all make jollof and we do Uncle Ben's rice. Like, we'll just, dude, it's rice. Who gives a care?
And it's still black eyed peas. You got some black eyed peas in there. Why you, like, come on, y'all.
I'm going to say, but the beauty of it is that they figured out that they needed each other.
Let me ask you this.
That was deep for me.
What about black American women?
What do you mean, what about it?
Do you think that, because we're not all the same.
See, I was going to go there, but I agree.
We're not all the same.
I agree with you wholeheartedly on that. You know that.
And,
talk to me though.
do we come together and pray together? And
some of us think we do on Sundays. But I'm talking about just in terms of, so with this organization, they meet with each other in each other's homes. They don't make it a religious thing because they're trying to...
I'm not reducing it to just
No, I'm just saying, that's why I said some of us do on Sundays.
Yeah.
But I'm talking about where it's like, this is from the... When I meet, this is how I know sometimes you could look different, but you could be cut from part of the same cloth as other people. Because sitting in the room with all those women, there's like over 350 women in the room. Most of them were Jewish people, like a good, probably 80%, but more like 90%.
It wasn't like 50 Muslims.
No, because there was at the Jewish Federation meeting,
okay,
and then a woman came from the East Coast to do a keynote,
okay,
and there was some Arab women in there, Muslims, and then the rest of it was Jews because they're their thing.
Yeah.
But the beauty of it is that they understand the common enemy, and I feel like even us as black people, like this, the new thing, the new divisive shit for black people is black privilege. Like if that shit...
The new what?
The divisive thing that divides black people.
Oh yeah,
classism.
Class.
No.
Yeah,
also the thought process that you're privileged. I just think that shit is so funny. Because you're privileged, but you where's your 100 years of privilege? We're all privileged because we wake up every morning.
Right.
Shit, you could have woke up dead.
If you got a roof over your head, you're
privileged, right?
Yeah.
But it don't really mean shit, Dana.
Right.
Because privilege is when you look up 100 years from now and you have something to show for your life and for your great grandchildren to stand on. That's called privilege.
Yeah.
You're a living, breathing thing of privilege.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Going to college don't mean you're privileged. It means you struggle to remember some shit. You get your degree. Now, privilege is when you take that degree like Jeffrey Canada and you build a school, and now you have people going out into the world based on the privilege that you gave them to then provide privilege for someone else. I just know that we dress up words to make ourselves feel good, but if somebody checked our receipts, we would be in trouble.
Yeah.
If they looked at your bank privilege, you would be on 0.
Yeah. Or negative.
Or negative. Yeah, definitely negative. And so let me just say this. The Jewish Federation of Sacramento. They have them all over the country. The guy told a story about how in LA a Russian boy called the Jewish Federation, and his grandfather was going to the hospital. They were new to the country. They was, he was really afraid, blah, blah, blah. So they have social work. They have everything in their shit, right? Mm-hmm. So they got him the stuff he needed. So the president went to the hospital, was like, who is this young man that, I can't remember, somebody was talking for the Federation and asked the little boy, why did you, because he was there with his grandfather, why did you call us first? And he said, my grandfather put this number on the refrigerator and said, if anything ever happens to me, call these people.
Girl, you fixing to make me cry.
And I thought to myself, as black people, do we have a number we put on the refrigerator?
Girl, I have talked about this so to me, that's why sisterhood and brotherhood has to be maintained. Because that's the part, if something happened to you, Ro, who's going to follow up and check on everything that you loved? Right. Everything that was important to you, everything that you built. It's not necessarily your blood family. Now, I know your family, so I'm not saying that not them, because of course they will. But I'm just saying in general, who's going to pick up your legacy or pick up your torch other than the people that you were building with?
Let me tell you who the Jewish Federation is. And I'm not, so people who like the Jews, I'm talking about you have to look at people's infrastructure in order to do some shit. Yeah. We'll criticize shit, and when we look at your infrastructure, you ain't did shit. You probably just got your ass to reading books and you like 60. Yeah. Okay, it was founded in 1901. Cause ain't nothing crazy to the nigga who just gets some knowledge. They read 2 books and now they on your ass. Like, I read that shit 25 years ago. Okay, sorry y'all, I just lost my mind. The Jewish Federation was founded in 1901. And it is one of the largest, oldest federations, the oldest and largest nonprofits. They are part of a network of more of 150 federations across North America. Originally, federations around the country were developed to aid Jewish immigrants in all social services. So from 1901, so they were 118 years old.
118 years old.
118-year-old organization.
That's providing services and whatever someone needs for their own people.
It started now it's just Jewish people in general, but they help other people too. I guess they help the Muslim women. So shit, it must be. So, but it's to provide aids to Jewish immigrants in need of social services. Now, some of y'all gonna get mad because people get mad. Why you talk about the Jews so much? Because they're a good fucking blueprint. Yeah. Let's just be honest. Yeah. I don't come from that petty ass shit. I'm mad at the Jews. Dude, I can't subscribe to that shit because it don't make no damn sense. But I'm saying 118-year-old organization is still on their square. Yeah.
That's still on their square. And that still believed and held true the principles that they put together, and they pushing the movement. And now young Jewish people have something to stand on. That's
standing
boss. Now that's gangster. That's some bullshit.
So, and I know people will say, because sometimes I just stop saying shit. I know that there have been these systematical plots against black people, but I just have to tell you, because I don't know your ancestors, but I know mine. And I just know that our ancestors did such great ass shit against awesome odds. It makes me look at the rest of us and be like, what y'all waiting on? Because we ain't facing the Ku Klux Klan when we walk out this door immediately. We don't really have to put our heads down when we're talking to white folks. So, and they still work through, even in slavery, black folks figured out systems for themselves.
Right. They did.
So for us to come up with an excuse immediately, and because the reason why I don't like excuses because it makes people stop working. Yeah. Yeah, and you punk down or power down. You're like, now I ain't got to show obstacle. Up. Right, now I ain't got to show up because they just kidnap people for organs. Then what's the goddamn plan?
So what you gonna do? You just gonna stay in your house?
Dang, don't get me started, y'all.
Oh
But that is our Sunday sitting with sisters.
I do want to take my name off the donor list.
Right on. Why? Real quick before we go.
Well, because y'all just hear me out.
No.
Do people know that you on the donor list, and then they be like, "Oh, okay, I want your uterus because it's good and strong."
Shit, my shit is fucked up. They don't want.
No, but I'm just
No,
saying.
I'm people like this. My shit's fucked up. You don't want shit from me.
I'm just trying to think like, damn.
I'm just being silly, y'all.
Do I need to take my name off the donor list at DMV?
I'm not on the donor list. I want to go on the ground with all my shit.
Oh, you don't want to give your stuff to nobody?
No.
Okay.
I don't believe in that.
Okay.
Because I probably said, hey, I want to give this to this woman here. They'd be like, well, she ain't high enough on the list. We'll give it to the first person. No.
Okay. You want to be able to pick.
Because we don't even know if we could trust these people. Let's just be honest.
Yeah.
You know, I know about the donor thing is that, you know, they showed a special where Asian people basically was coming here from Japan or whatever, getting to the top of the list for kidneys and shit like that. No, I'm good.
Okay.
I'm good. So I'm with you, Dana. I don't still believe in it. You be all right. Sometimes it's your time, it's your time. If it's your time, it's your time, y'all. And right now, it's time for us to get the heck up on out of here.
Okay, y'all. Well, you know what? Peace and love. Before we go, can I just do
quickly? Yep, because I think going out weird.
Okay. Black Friday.
Yes.
November 29th and November 30th. Florence Square is the place to be. Starting at 10 a.m. Doors open at 10 a.m. Bring your friends. Bring your family. You'll be so glad that you did. Just plan to spend the day there.
Right on. I'm going to keep pumping, though I won't be here because I'll be in Vegas. But y'all get to that Black Friday.
Yes.
I'm going to do African Friday in Vegas.
Really?
I am. I'm going to do a bunch of stuff out in Vegas. Because black folks, we on fire across this country. I want to be in the know, in the now.
Okay, I'm going to have to hit up Vegas with you.
Yeah, girl. They got so much African culture. We're going to make this happen. I got this, man. We need to go in and gas this up.
Yeah, I'm ready. I am. But see, I am single.
Single, ready to mingle.
So I can't
so
move
don't
around.
be single. Hear the jingle. No, I'm just joking.
Peace and love, family.